A teenage boy quietly walks into his family's barn in the dead of night. He unties their most valuable possession, a single, heavy cow. He drags the animal through the dark to a nearby town, sells it for a train ticket, and runs away. That boy was Chung Ju-yung. Decades later, he would build a $100 billion global empire called Hyundai. But on that night, he was just a desperate thief fleeing from starvation. This is the story of the boy who stole a cow to build a $100 billion empire. Chung was born in 1915 in a tiny mountain village in what is now North Korea. His family were peasant farmers. They worked 16 hours a day in the mud, yet they rarely had enough to eat. In the winter, they survived on nothing but diluted porridge and boiled tree bark. His father was a hard-working man who believed in accepting his fate. He told Chung that their family had always been farmers, and they would always be farmers.
Chung looked at his father's calloused hands and saw a life sentence. He realized that no matter how hard they worked, the land would never give them freedom. Was a constant, dull ache in his stomach. It was the pain of watching his siblings cry from hunger. It was the pain of knowing that his future was already written in the dirt. But leaving his home village to build anew in the city was incredibly difficult. Every early venture ended in frustration. As a young man, he and a friend in a nearby town, only to return empty-handed. Later, he tried to establish himself in the city, but his family persuaded him to return to the family farm. His father told him that city life was illusion and that security was found only in the soil. To him, the farm was not security. It was a slow death. So he decided to commit the ultimate betrayal. He stole his father's only cow, sold it for 71, and bought a train ticket to Seoul. Why was Chung desperate? To a diagnosis of his situation was simple, as that hard work in the wrong environment is a financial trap. His father worked harder than anyone he knew, yet they remained broke. The environment you choose dictates your potential. If you plant a seed in dry sand, it will die, no matter how much you water it. Chung diagnosed that the agricultural system of his village was designed for survival, not growth. He also diagnosed the mindset of his father. His father was trapped by the illusion of safety. He preferred the guaranteed misery of the farm over the risky potential of the city. But Chung knew that safety is the greatest enemy of wealth. To build anything of value, you must be willing to burn your bridges. Stealing the cow was his way of burning the bridge. There was no going back after that. He had disgraced his family name to buy a ticket to the future, with nothing but the clothes on his back and the guilt of his theft. But he had a new diagnostic framework for life. He realized that when you have nothing to lose, your speed is your greatest asset. He took a job at a local merchant store, delivering goods. He dedicated himself entirely to the work, memorizing customer preferences and building absolute trust with the owner. Impressed by his integrity and sharp business mind, the owner eventually passed the entire store management to him. By his early 20s, he was running a thriving enterprise. But just as he tasted success, the world crashed down. World War II broke out and the military government seized the rice store. Chung's setbacks was a relentless, aggressive execution of grit. He did not complain about the government seizing his business. Instead, he looked for the next opportunity. He saw that cars were becoming more common, but repair shops slow and expensive. He borrowed money from a friend and bought an auto repair shop in Seoul. But within 3 days of opening, a worker accidentally dropped a lamp and the entire shop burned to the ground. Everything was gone. He was in massive debt and his business was a pile of ash. Most people would have given up and gone back to the farm. But Chung went back to his creditor. He did not make excuses. He simply asked for another loan to rebuild, promising to pay it back with interest. The creditor was so shocked by his confidence that he gave him the money. Chung rebuilt the shop and introduced a simple strategy. He promised to repair cars twice as fast as his competitors. He and his team worked through the night, sleeping on the shop floor. The business boomed, and he paid off all his debts. After the Korean War, Chung saw that the country needed rebuilding. He founded the Hyundai Civil Industries. He did not know anything about construction, but he knew how to manage people and work hard. He took on massive government projects that other companies rejected as impossible. Over the Nakdong River needed to be built. Other companies estimated it would take years. Chung completed it in just a few months by running shifts 24 hours a day. He became the go-to builder for the Korean government. But his biggest challenge was yet to come. In the early 1970s, the Korean government wanted to build a massive shipyard. The problem was, Korea had zero experience building large cargo ships. No international bank would lend them the money. Chung traveled to London to meet with Barclays Bank. The bankers laughed at him. They asked how a country that had never built a modern ship could suddenly build a shipyard. Chung pulled a Korean 501 banknote out of his pocket. He showed it to the bankers. He pointed to the picture of a turtle ship on the banknote. He told them that Koreans had built the world's first ironclad warship in the 16th century, 300 years before the British. He said, "Our shipbuilding history was just paused by history is still in our blood." The British bankers were so impressed by his audacity and historical proof, that they have built the shipyard and the ships at the same time. Within decades, Hyundai became the largest shipbuilder in the entire world. He went from a boy who stole a cow to the head of a massive conglomerate, but he never forgot where he came from. In 1998, near the end of his life, Chung did something extraordinary. He returned to his home village in North Korea. He did not go empty-handed. He walked across the border, leading a caravan of 1,001 cows. He told the world that he was paying back the debt he owed to his father and his homeland. He had taken 1 cow, and he returned 1,000. Chung Ju-yung passed away in 2001, but the empire he built still shapes the global economy. His story is the ultimate proof that your background does not define your destiny. The next time you feel stuck in your environment, ask yourself the question Chung asked his workers every time they said something was impossible. Have you tried? This has been Peak Capital. We have another story next week.